Apple is a trillion-dollar company, but at what cost?
But at what cost?
Cost of selling your soul and wallet to the mighty Apple gods to join the latest trend? It's no secret that Apple has created an ecosystem of beautifully designed and highly addictive devices. But have you ever stopped to think about the cost? Hey, if I screwed up or have any false or outdated information, please let me know. I'll be sure to pin your comment and let the internet mock me for my ignorance. Well, Apple may not have as many users as Facebook, but they have a stranglehold on the tech industry. Whenever a new iPhone is released, the rest of the world falls in line and hands over their hard-earned cash. And who can forget the groundbreaking release of the AirPods, making it seem like we've never seen a pair of Bluetooth earphones before, even though they're basically the same as every other pair on the market. But let's not forget about Apple's notorious repair service, which is about as reliable as a game of Russian roulette. Yet we still flock to the sexiest laptop on the market because, let's face it, we're all just suckers for good marketing.
Marketing, super, fabulous.
And let's not forget the whopping 64 margin on the iPhone X, a price point that has us all reaching for our wallets and wondering where all our money went. But hey, at least we have the satisfaction of knowing we're part of the trendy Apple cult, right? Ready to break open your piggy bank and hand over all your hard-earned cash to the Apple overlords? Say hello to the App Store. Apple was the first to introduce the concept of an App Store, and they've been reaping the benefits ever since. Whenever you make a purchase from an app downloaded from the App Store, Apple takes a tidy 30 cut. But hey, at least Google's Play Store charges a similar fee, so you're not alone in your financial woes. Before the glory days of app stores, developers had to rely on physical retailers to distribute their products. And let's be real, those guys weren't known for their generous commission rates. 50% to 70% was the norm, thanks to all those pesky expenses like inventory management, rent, and labor. Who still remembers the days when we had to buy CDs to install programs? Let me know in the comments section below. It'll be interesting to see who among us lived through the dinosaur age. Have you ever stopped to think about the hidden costs of downloading apps from the App Store? You see, while some apps like Amazon Prime allow you to pay directly for subscriptions and avoid Apple's greedy 30% fee, others, like Spotify, charge you an extra $3 to cover the Apple tax. In 2019, Apple raked in a cool $15 billion from this tax alone. Talk about a cash cow, huh?
No, I didn't feel like a cow.
But not every company gets to bypass the tax. Apple has been known to play favorites, allowing some big companies like Amazon to slide while cracking down on others. And here's our poor little Epic. For those who aren't in the know, here's the quick rundown. Epic, the creators behind the wildly popular game Fortnite, tried to add a payment gateway to allow players to directly pay for the game and bypass Apple's 30% fee. In response, Apple did what any rational, level-headed company would do.
What'd you do? Did you sue them?
They removed Fortnite from the App Store and threatened to remove Epic's payment gateway. But the drama doesn't end there. Apple has also announced that it will restrict updates on all games created using Unreal Engine, which just so happens to be owned by Epic. Talk about a power play. Epic Games has then responded to Apple's actions by filing a lawsuit accusing the company of monopolizing the iOS App Store and acting arbitrarily with its rules. This legal action could have significant consequences for developers and gaming companies, and it raises questions about Apple's authority over the iOS platform. Does Apple have the right to act as it pleases, regardless of the impact on other companies and users who own iPhones and desire certain apps? The situation is just one example of how Apple is damaging the tech industry. Their monopoly over the app market and their selective enforcement of rules can have far-reaching consequences for developers and users alike. Have you ever tried to get your Apple products repaired by an independent repair shop? If so, you know it's no easy feat. Apple has made it nearly impossible for independent repair shops to repair their products. They don't have access to the necessary parts, and Apple has a habit of taking away the ability to repair individual component. This leaves consumers with two options: pay the high prices at an Apple service center or try to find a third-party technician who might be able to fix the issue for less. But let's be real. The latter option is like playing a game of repair roulette.
Your life depends on them believing you, Benji.
You never know if you're going to get someone who actually knows what they're doing or someone who's just going to make the problem even worse. But in 2021, there's been some good news on the repair front. Apple has announced a new program that will allow independent repair shops to repair certain Apple products. This is a huge win for consumers,
Great game, Walt. That was a huge win.
who will now have more options for affordable repairs. No longer will they be forced to shell out hundreds or even thousands of dollars at an Apple service center. Instead, they'll have the option to go to a trusted local repair shop that can often fix the same issues for a fraction of the cost. It's a small victory, but it's a step in the right direction towards giving consumers more control over the repair process and more options for affordable repairs. If you're in need of a repair for your Apple products, you might be considering going to an independent technician.
But wait a moment.
There are a few things you should know. Under the new repair program from Apple, independent technicians are extremely limited in what they can fix. In fact, they're only allowed to replace iPhone batteries and displays. That's it. No other repairs are allowed. And even getting a battery or display replaced is a hassle. Independent technicians can't stock these parts, so you'll have to wait at least 2 weeks for your repair. But the fun doesn't stop there. You'll also have to share all your personal information, including your name, address, and EMA number
How exactly do you pronounce it?
with Apple through the technician. So much for privacy, huh? It's clear that this new repair program is nothing more than a way for Apple to get out of a current lawsuit and pretend that they're doing everything they can to provide better service.
Just pretend, for Christ's sake.
In reality, it's just a thinly veiled excuse to continue restricting independent technicians and maintaining their monopoly over repairs. They claimed it was done to make your iPhone battery run longer. If that's the case, why didn't they say it earlier? When you buy an Apple product, you expect to have complete ownership over it, to be able to do whatever you want with it. But unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. Apple has a history of questionable practices that undermine the ownership of their products. For example, a few years back, it was discovered that Apple was slowing down older iPhones automatically when a new model was released. Apple has then been fined 25 million euros. They claimed it was to extend the battery life, but many people were skeptical. And let's not forget the notorious MacBook keyboard from 2016, a flawed design that Apple refused to replace. If you break your MacBook, you can't get back your data, even though it's possible, just because Apple does not want that and want you to buy a new one rather than fix it. If you're wondering how Apple is affecting the tech industry as a whole, the answer is simple. They're setting the standard, and everyone else is following Apple's footsteps. When Apple makes a move, other companies scramble to copy it. Just look at Microsoft, who released a MacBook killer that has all the same problems. Or Google, who has implemented a similar fee structure to Apple's App Store with their Play Store. But it's not just about copying each other's moves. Apple's influence extends to pricing as well. Many people believe that Apple products are overpriced, and other companies are following suit by charging premium prices for their products. This is especially frustrating when it comes to repairs. If you have a broken Mac, you're often better off buying a new one than trying to fix the old one, because the cost of repairs is often more expensive than the cost of a new device. It's no wonder that Apple has become the first American company to reach a valuation of $2 trillion. See all those vampire suckers out there.
He's the one. That's the vampire.
If this trend continues, consumers will have no choice but to pay more than what products are actually worth. It's a disturbing prospect, and one that we should all be paying attention to. Thanks for sticking with me through this whole rant about Apple and their questionable business practices. But hey, at least they're the first American company to reach a valuation of $2 trillion, right? What can you say? But let's be real. You're probably not going to stop using Apple products after this video. They're just too darn convenient and shiny. Who am I to influence you?
Who am I to make a criticism to someone like you?
So if you enjoyed this little dive into the dark side of Apple, then be sure to hit
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And if you didn't enjoy it, well, I guess you're just not cool enough for this channel. Sorry, but not sorry.
I'm sorry, but I think it's best if you leave now.